Oh my god, I'm struggling to hold them all. I just want to take the thumbnail, please. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I am going to be filming my dark romance book recommendations. So if you are into dark romance, or if you want to get into dark romance, here are some absolute must-reads with some morally grey and morally black men that I'm obsessed with, that hopefully you will also become equally as obsessed with. The first recommendation is my absolute holy grail, which is the Edge of Darkness trilogy by Leigh Rivers. There are 3 books in this series, the first one being Insatiable, the second one being Voracious, which was my absolute favourite. I fucking devoured this. The third one being Restitution, which I also loved. In the first book, Insatiable, we find out that Keri and Stacey broke up when they were teenagers, and then throughout the series we are discovering as to why this happened, how this happened, and we also find out that when they break up, Keri goes completely off the rails. He basically gets involved with a really dodgy group of people who are paying him to do basically really bad crimes. This series dives into really heavy themes and topics such as abuse, trauma, obsession, revenge, and the messy path towards redemption and healing. This series has just about every raw and gritty thing you could possibly think of, including heartbreak, rage, hard-earned love. This series is absolutely everything to me. It has made it into my god tier books. If you are looking for something really raw, something that feels very real, and a character driven story that just hurts so good, then look no further. You absolutely have to read the Edge of Darkness trilogy. I became obsessed with this from the first book, and I genuinely don't think there will be any dark romance anytime soon that can possibly top this trilogy and the feeling that it gave me. Keri and Stacey have my absolute heart, and I genuinely cannot stop wanting to cry when I look at these covers and thinking about what unfolds in this trilogy. To be honest, if you are going to take any recommendation from this video, then please take this one. The next books that I wanted to talk about are the Cat and Mouse Duet by H.D. Carlton. So that is book 1, which is Haunting Adeline, and then we have book 2, which is Hunting Adeline. This is a very dark and addictive stalker cat and mouse duet that follows Adeline and Zaid. Zaid is part of a secret organisation that basically stops and fights human trafficking, but his obsession with Adeline is literally anything but heroic. This is a very deep and sort of a twisted romance that also has really razor sharp tension. Like, as you're reading this, you can physically feel the tension seeping out of these books. It is perfect if you love morally black heroes and stories that push every single boundary whilst following really emotional, intense themes. The spicy scenes in this duology are absolutely insane. I still can't forget about certain scenes and things that go down in this book. The mirror scene, if you know, then you know. That's all I have to say. I will never ever forget about the first time that I read this book, and it's one of the books that I wish I could read for the first time again. Also by the same author, we have Does It Hurt by H.D. Carlton, which is a standalone. This is a tense and atmospheric dark romance, but it can also be seen as kind of like a thriller because there are a lot of mystery elements in this book as well. So essentially this follows our 2 main characters, Sawyer and Enzo. Sawyer is a girl who's basically on the run from her really traumatic past, and she is actually an identity thief. And of course, she crosses paths with our brooding MMC, Enzo. Their amazing enemies to lovers and explosive chemistry actually leads to them being stranded on a remote island with a really, really weird man who we don't know much about, and we're just uncovering him in this book. It's a very atmospheric book. There is a creepy lighthouse on the island, there is survival, there is tension, and it also has really, really unexpected emotional depth as well, specifically towards the end. I absolutely love this. I felt like I was on the edge of my seat throughout reading all of this, and if that doesn't explain to you how much of an amazing book this is, then I don't know what will. Honestly, if you enjoyed Haunting Adeline and you would like to read more by this author, please read this book. I promise you now, you will become obsessed. The next book that I want to mention is The Fabric of Our Souls. This is amazing. This is a book about two troubled souls, Liam and Wyn, who actually meet in a psychiatric or rehab facility. And it basically dives really, really deep into their bond, how toxic it actually is, but how amazing it is and how they help each other. These two characters who have basically hit rock bottom have such a toxic and healing connection. Basically, Wyn wants to end her life, whereas Liam wants to harm himself. They also meet another person at this facility who they become really, really close with. So we get like kind of a trio dynamic and they all help each other. And I really, really enjoyed this. It's also super short. Like you can genuinely just sit there and read this in one sitting. I was absolutely obsessed with the story. I sobbed at the end. I did not see it coming. I didn't cry throughout the whole of this book. And then once I finished it and I put the book down, I started sobbing. And my boyfriend was like, oh my God, like, are you good? Like, what have you read this time kind of thing. Also, if you're looking for something a little bit more underrated, I would recommend this because this is very, very under the radar at the moment. I don't hear many people talking about this at all. The next series I want to talk about is the Maid series by Danielle, which is a interconnected standalone mafia series. So the first book in this book is The Sweetest Oblivion, then we have The Maddest Obsession, and then we have The Darkest Temptation. Each book follows different couples in a dangerous world full of power, obsession, secrets, and forbidden attraction. I absolutely ate these up. We have loads of alpha men, we have really, really intense connections in this with family loyalty and high stakes drama that is very, very addictive and also extremely steamy. Also, if you're looking for a dark romance series that isn't that dark and you're just simply wanting to dip your toes in, I would 100% recommend this series because they are nowhere near as dark as the other books that I have on this list. The next series that I want to talk about is another one of my really, really favourites, which is the Legacy of God series by Rina. This is a college romance series with powerful, ruthless and morally grey men who become obsessed with the characters in these books. The first one that we have is God of Malice, and then we have God of Pain, God of Wrath, God of Ruin, God of Fury, which is the only romance book in this series. And then we have my all-time favourite, which is God of War. Now, as I was reading this series, I was absolutely certain that God of Wrath was going to stay my favourite because this is the third book in the series and I was like, oh my God, nothing can top God of Wrath. There is not a single book in this series that I'm going to read that will top the scenes and the connection that the two main characters had in this book. And then I picked up the last one, which is God of War, and I was absolutely blown away. I related to Ava in this book. I loved Eli as an MMC. I thought the story was really, really well put together. And I love the way that the whole series was wrapped up at the end. This series is extremely, extremely addictive. There is just about everything in this, from drama to rivalries, gangs, obsession, and also there is a heavy mafia element in this whole series as well, which I absolutely loved. I also found that this had amazing found family as well. I loved how all of these are interconnected. They are interconnected standalones, but I would recommend, like, I would highly recommend you read these in order. Otherwise, you're not going to get the full reading experience of all the characters and the character development. So the last book that I wanted to recommend is Nocticadia. Oh my god. I have actually just finished this book and it was absolutely unreal. This is a dark academia and gothic standalone with forbidden romance and some mystery elements in it as well. It follows our two main characters, Lilia and Professor Bramwell. Yes, this is a professor-student book and it was actually the first one that I'd read, and I feel like I've made a mistake reading it first because I don't think any other teacher-student romance is going to hit quite as much as this actually did. So essentially our main character Lilia, we find out at the start of the book that her mum passes away and she enrolls at a really prestigious university, and it just turns out that the professor knows a lot about the illness that her mum died from. So she becomes very entangled within that and within the professor relationship. I absolutely loved this book. It was so atmospheric. I kind of regret a little bit reading it in the summer because I feel like the setting would have hit so much more if it was dark and gloomy outside. But regardless, I absolutely loved this and I will recommend it to absolutely everyone who wants to get into dark academia. It's a little bit on the longer side. It's around 600 pages, but it's so worth it. The character depth and the plot depth that we get is absolutely insane, and I finished this book. All I wanted to do, I kid you not, was just read it all over again straight away. It's also made it into my God tier. So that is it for all of my recommendations. Make sure you comment down below some of the books that you're interested in that maybe you want to read, and thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and also thank you to anyone who is supporting my channel at the moment, because as you know, I'm still a very new channel, so I do appreciate absolutely everybody who likes and subscribes and drops a comment. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.